How does working on video games in general compare to anything you've done in the traditional Hollywood medium?
Probably the biggest difference between games and film, let's say, for me is the number of minutes of music they need recorded or written for the project. If it's a film, I might do 60 minutes of music for a feature-length film, and that's a lot of minutes. But if it's a game, 2 hours might be where we start for a game, and then it can go upwards of 3.5, or 4 hours. So there's a lot more music that needs to be done. And the second biggest difference is, normally you don't have a visual reference with games. The game's still being built. I might have a QuickTime movie I can look at that shows me an idea of what the gameplay is going to look like. Whereas with film, here's the scene. I put it up on the screen and I can compose to that scene very, very specifically. I don't think you can get any opposite between kind of film music and game music, but in many senses they complement each other, at least for me. So I get satisfaction from working both ways.
Can you talk a little about some of the games you've made over the years?
Let's see. Usually when people ask me that question, I end up pulling up my website because I remember things. Oh, well, maybe you would. The first game that I worked on that I felt was really, really creatively liberating, kind of to the extreme, was a title called Dead Space. And it was so liberating because they really had no requirements as to what the music needed to sound like. They just wanted it to be scary. It was a horror shooter survival thing. So I was given complete free rein to really do anything I wanted with the orchestra. They gave me enough rope to hang myself, about 10 times, because they gave me a lot of freedom. And it was stressful, but it was a lot of fun in the long run. Things seemed to work the way I hoped they would work, and that was kind of the beginning of having some sort of a name for, hopefully, creative music, as opposed to kind of more traditional, to be expected kinds of things that might be heard in a film, for example.
What did you do after Dead Space?
Let's see. After Dead Space, I got to do a Command & Conquer title, which was a lot of fun, another thing with EA, and both of those titles also use live orchestra, which, as I said, is what I'm really fond of. What would be another highlight? I did a lot of stuff for Ubisoft probably 8 years ago. I was kind of known as the World War II campaign composer in a way. So I did a lot of games like Silent Hunter and Blazing Angels, multiple titles from those. I was also doing some kids games at the time, which was a lot of fun. I even did a Star Wars DS game where I had 2 voices and a white noise generator to basically replicate the entire orchestra for John Williams' score to Star Wars. Kind of going with the whole chiptune thing. That was definitely a lot of fun. More recently, I did a reboot for the Tomb Raider franchise that came out last year. That was also a lot of fun, creatively speaking, which is what you'll hear me talk about a lot. I love the creative potential in games. It seems like the more unique and interesting and different I can make the music, the more the game companies like it. And a lot of times with film and TV, there's a lot of risk involved, and they want you to play it more safe.